From The Onion and Onion Public Radio, this is The Topical. I'm Leslie Price, and I'm about to blow my whole news wad right here and now. Here are today's top stories. President Trump is accusing New York of padding the state's coronavirus mortality rate by including African American deaths. Trump dismissed the latest set of statistics as, quote, totally overblown, calling it very unfair to start adding in a bunch of people who died of the virus who were also very clearly black. Trump went on to demand an apology from New York Governor Andrew Cuomo for the inflated death totals and for even harboring African Americans in the first place. And troubling news out of Chicago, with Mayor Lori Lightfoot reporting that the city has exhausted nearly 85% of its reserve Italian beef supply during the coronavirus shelter in place. Even worse, Mayor Lightfoot said that the city's tanks holding Italian beef drippings could be completely dry by as early as next week. And that's it for today's important news. Could probably end it right here, but unfortunately we haven't heard a single ad yet, so we'll be back with some fluff right after this. To you, your mother is the best mom in the world, right? Well, according to a new study from the University of Iowa, that might not be so. The study, which observed thousands of mothers across the country for multiple years, found that statistically speaking, your mom is nowhere close to being the best mom in the world. In fact, she's far from it and is actually not that special, just like every other mom on the planet. Here with more is the study's author, sociologist Dr. Kenneth Wagner. Dr. Wagner, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Leslie.
So take us through the study.
During our hundreds of thousands of observation hours, it started to become clear that your mom, who you think is the most wonderful, strongest woman on the planet, is most likely just barely average.
That's a hard pill to swallow. When I think about mothers, including my own, I'm left in awe by their unending love, support, and willingness to sacrifice for their children.
Well, according to our study, those attributes might seem rare, but are actually nothing to write home about. Think about it. Is it really that impressive that she supported you when you switched from engineering to communications your sophomore year of college?
Well, it felt like a big deal to me, but maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Big whoop, in fact, according to our study.
Well, here's where I'm getting stuck. Obviously, if maternity can be measured on a bell curve, then someone's mom has got to be the best mom in the world. Why not one of ours?
Our sample pool had some real contenders, like moms with really sick kids who donate their bone marrow so the kid can eke out a few more precious years, or those moms who always include in their kids' lunchboxes those little cookie sticks you can dip in chocolate fudge.
Yes.
But both those types of mothers were always prone to loving their children a little too much, to the point where they were at fault for considering their children to be the most special in the world, which was really annoying and kind of pathetic, according to our findings.
Wow, well, these findings are tough to hear.
I'm sure they are, but what the person tuned into this podcast needs to realize is that they see their mom through rose-colored glasses. You love your mom simply because she's your mom. But we found that based on her interactions with those outside her immediate family, your mom has a 68% chance of actually being kind of a bitch.
Okay, wow, that's our mothers you're talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately, our study found there's a strong chance your mom sucks.
What?
And you might not know it until long after she's dead, or her worst attributes start to pop up in your own parenting.
Are you kidding?
The results of our study found that if you can't see that your mom actually screwed up raising you now, you will someday.
What the hell do you know?
Just speaking the facts.
Well, what about your mom?
What about her?
Well, if your study is accurate, then it stands to reason that your mom isn't special either.
Well, my mom is different. She makes the best mashed potatoes and always went to my lacrosse games. Plus, she wasn't like everyone else's mom growing up. She's the best mom in the world.
Well, according to a study I just heard from some annoying scientist named Kenneth, your mom is probably trash.
Excuse me? Did you just call my mom trash?
Maybe I did call your stupid bitch mom trash.
Edith Wagner is a kind and generous soul.
Edith Wagner is a kind and generous soul. Edith Wagner is a slut.
Go fuck yourself.
I will, just like your mom did last night.
No, your mom had sex with me last night.
I know you had sex with your mom last night. She told me that you had a little dick and hated you.
Stop it. I did not have sex with my mom.
That's not what she said when she was sucking my dick.
Shut up.
She was all like, oh, Leslie, oh yeah.
Shut up, stop it.
I hate
she
my
did
son's
not.
little penis and
Stop.
I love your big one.
Mom, don't, Leslie, to stop being mean to me.
Bitch, no one talks about my mother that way. We'll be right back. The novel coronavirus has brought life to a standstill, and for many of us that means no more regular trips to the gym. But is there a way to still exercise while social distancing and being stuck at home with your head between the banisters? I'm joined on the phone by renowned San Francisco trainer Kennedy Forbath to talk about a workout that will take your mind off the fact that your head's been stuck between two curved wooden rails for the last 3 hours, and you might die that way. Hi, Kennedy.
Hi, Leslie. Happy to be here.
Thanks for taking the time. Now, common sense would tell you if I slipped my head between the railings just to see if I could, and the next thing you know, I'm stuck, and my next-door neighbor doesn't hear my calls for help, there's no way I'm getting my day's exercise in. But you say not so fast.
That's right. Being caught in the stairs with no hope of anyone coming to grease the sides of your head to wiggle you free is no excuse to forego your daily cardio. And I've designed a workout to prove just that.
Excellent. So for you listeners at home, I've agreed to do the workout with Kennedy live over Zoom during this recording. If you'd like to follow along at home, just get down on your hands and knees and pop your head through your banister to start.
All right, first thing you're going to want to do is pull your head and see if you can writhe yourself free.
Nope, definitely stuck.
Perfect. Let's get to it.
Now, is this going to require any additional equipment? Because I don't have much at my disposal right now.
It's all body weight, Leslie. No equipment whatsoever. First, we're going to hit the anterior chain on the front of your body by propping our feet against the wall and holding it in a pose.
Okay. Not bad, but I do feel all the blood rushing to my face.
That's a normal thing to feel when two railing pulls are restricting your breathing, so just stay focused and don't panic.
Okay.
So now let's go from this current position into a push-up position. Get your arms out wide to the side of you so they can support your body moving up and down. 1, 2, 3.
One.
Be careful not to go too fast or you'll get splinters on your neck.
I dropped fast after that one, and I think I got a splinter on my right side. I can see blood dribbling down onto my mood rings.
Now wipe the blood off with your ear or shoulder if you can, and let's drop those feet down into a plank.
Yeah. Come on, Price.
Now we're hitting those abs even harder with some mountain climbers. You sound like you're doing a great job and still conscious, Leslie.
Just blacking out a little from the pressure around my neck. I know this is supposed to target my abs, but my neck keeps cracking too.
That's just your body telling you it's waking up.
Hard to breathe now.
Now let's turn around and lay on our sides to relieve that neck.
Whoa.
You'll want to rotate slowly. You sound like you're strangling yourself, which you want to remember to avoid doing when we're exercising with our heads stuck in the banisters.
Sorry. I slipped out of the banister. I must have been sweating like a pig in shit.
No problem. Just take a second to get back into position so we can finish up strong.
Okay, you bet. Yeah! Back in. I want to thank Kennedy for taking the time to encourage all of us to stay active in these harrowing times. We'll be back right after this.
Oh, don't back out on me now, Les. Flip your legs over your head and finish out in a handstand.
Okay. Yeah! Well, folks, the coronavirus has ruined a lot of things. Sports, the economy, my ability to find a single goddamn egg. But amid all this bad news, there have been moments of unusual beauty as life slows down and people take time to reflect on the world around them. One of the biggest changes has been in the hustle and bustle of the city, where the cacophony of cars and construction has been silenced, and in its place a new peaceful quiet, one which has allowed the sounds of the natural world to re-emerge. OPR's Jenna Resnick has the story.
It's 4 in the afternoon on a bright, brisk spring Wednesday. Normally, this intersection would be enveloped in the deafening roar of endless traffic and people going about their day. But as the coronavirus pandemic has brought life to a screeching halt, nature has slowly started to reclaim what civilization had drowned out. Listen.
Get the fuck out of my face, you asshole!
Stop screaming! I didn't do anything. You're being fucking crazy.
Just fuck off and die.
Did you hear that? It's the soothing call of a doomed relationship, something many people who live here had almost forgotten the sound of. But now, with noise pollution reduced to a whisper, the sounds of these couples' blowout fights echo throughout the streets unchallenged.
I should have listened to my mother when she warned me about you. She told me you were a controlling, conniving person.
Oh, fuck you.
Fucking bitch.
These fights have always been there, like hidden whispers, unnoticed by most. Now they are out front, singing their song of hatred. And many residents have welcomed the change.
I'm gonna take these tongs and drive them through your stupid eyes.
It wasn't something I ever really thought about, but now every time I go for a walk, I hear a dozen screaming matches coming from windows and rooftops. Really makes me think about whether the way we've been living is healthy.
I know. You get so used to the sounds of the city, you forget what nature actually sounds like.
Fuck off.
Get the fuck away from me!
As one meanders through the park or down the now empty boulevards, the thing you may be most struck by is the sheer variety of shouts and insults. We are surrounded by 1,000 different kinds of imploding couples, but we never stopped to listen.
Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't work. You don't do anything.
Oh.
All you do is listen to yourself on your stupid podcast all day.
Like you
I
would
can't
know.
even stand to look at you anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm going for a walk.
Oh, great. So great. Glad you're handling this so well. Why don't you go tell your little friend Steve all about it?
Okay, yeah, I fucked him. So what?
Like I didn't know that. Newsflash.
You
Uh-huh.
wouldn't know how to work your dick if it came with an instruction manual.
Oh, yeah? Well, I hope you catch coronavirus and fucking die.
Amazing. These have been challenging times, but it's little things like this that can give us hope for tomorrow. That these couples can continue to melt down and finally tell each other how they feel in the face of a pandemic, it just goes to show that nature will always find a way. For OPR, I'm Jenna Resnick. Thank you so much for that, Jenna. A true testament to nature's unbreakable desire for suffering. We'll be back in a moment. Well, not everything can be as uplifting as that last story. There's a lot of bad people in this world doing a lot of bad things, and nothing gives me more pleasure than to talk about them at length. Here's what else you need to know today. Well, Sunday might be Mother's Day, but not everyone is celebrating. Due to lack of available resources at many hospitals around the country, the Surgeon General's office is urging pregnant Americans who may soon be going into labor to suck that thing back up there and hold it in for a few more months if they can. And for those still sheltering in place, Nike has released a limited edition self-quarantine sneaker for milling about the house. The shoes come with specially designed arches that support your feet when you barely lift your toes off the ground to get back and forth between the couch and the bathroom. The new design also comes in a great array of color combinations, even though you'll be the only one who sees them. And finally, oh, Jesus Christ, more corrections? All right, fine, here we go. There's a lot of misinformation going around during this pandemic, and we here at The Topical are just as susceptible to it as anyone, so we'd like to issue the following corrections from yesterday's episode. First off, Georgia is still part of the United States. That was our mistake. Second, it's pronounced Dr. Fauci, not Dr. Fettuccine, and certainly not Dick Fawcett, so we apologize for that as well. Also, our financial expert reported yesterday that we're all worth more dead than alive, and that if we really cared about our families, we'd do the right thing. We're still waiting on confirmation to this story, so don't take out that life insurance policy just yet. And finally, Big Rowdy Pawpaw is not a constellation in the night sky. I repeat, Big Rowdy Pawpaw, not a constellation. Not sure how that one got past us. Anyway, we here at OPR would like to apologize for any confusion or inconvenience these errors may have caused, and as always, we'll try to do better the next time. The news doesn't stop just because this YouTube video has. For even more on all the worst things happening in the world right now, listen and subscribe to The Topical on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, you insatiable news freaks.